What's going on? This is your man John Fortune, your host of the Frustrated Fan Sports Show. And today, free agency is running wild. Free agency is going crazy. The thing about it is that I'm watching as the free agents are being picked up and watching as other teams are signing free agents and quality guys. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not a person who feels that you got to build through free agency, but there are things you have to do in free agency to make your team better. Here's the thing that has kind of shocked me. Weren't we supposed to be the destination for free agents this year? Like, wasn't the Commanders supposed to be the team that free agents would now want to come to? Like, that was the narrative during the whole season as Jaden Daniels and Washington was marching through the season. And then, the off season, people were talking about, Washington is going to be the destination for free agents. Free agents are going to want to play with Jaden Daniels. And we've actually seen quite the opposite. I mean, for a team like Washington, who actually has the cap money, we've actually seen the opposite. Like, we've seen a lot of signings that have been very smart. Like, these players are they're making very calculated moves. A lot of these free agents. I mean, some of them have really thought about where they're signing at and why they're signing there. But it's strange that Washington hasn't pulled a big name out of the free agency market. Most of their big name deals have come at the expense of draft picks. Now, I understand that there's a shift and you got to change up, but now it's starting to feel a little shaky. Now, I'm not saying that Adam Peters don't have a plan, or his plan is not off to a great start, or it's looking bad, because I don't know what's going to happen. I mean, maybe something happened by the time this video is out. We probably have made a deal, but currently right now, we don't look like the destination for free agents right now. Like, we're actually looking like free agents are still avoiding us. I mean, when you think about what we signed, I mean, like, we signed John Bates to a 3-year deal, but couldn't get Jeremy Chin in, who signed a 2-year deal for, I think it was like maybe 16 or 14 million or something like that. Like, that's kind of odd, especially when you're talking about a tight end who hasn't quite developed into the guy that we expected him to be. I mean, he's still not really a receiving threat. He's still pretty much a dedicated blocking tight end. So, I mean, that's kind of crazy. Kinlaw, Hargrave was probably a better guy to go with, but maybe even Malik Collins. But I mean, when you talk about releasing Jonathan Allen, and I get that his amount was kind of high, at least you got consistency with him. Kinlaw, this is like his first season, maybe his second season, because I think the season before he had like 3 sacks, but I think this is the first time that he's had a consistent season where he started all 17 games, because I don't think he started 17 or more than 7 games, I think, in his career. Maybe he's his second year in the league. But it's just kind of strange that, to go with a guy like Kinlaw versus Hargrave, that was kind of odd to me. It's kind of crazy because I sat up there and talked about guys that Washington could have made a really good run at. and that would improve the team. The crazy thing about it is that I don't think the Washington front office really looked at my video, because it seemed like the Carolina front office looked at my video, because they signed 3 of the guys off of my video. I mean, they got Bobby Brown at defensive tackle. They took Trayshawn Wharton. They got him, and they got Trayvon Moehrig, the safety from Oakland, from the Raiders. So yeah, I'm a little surprised, because again, Carolina is basically in the exact same boat that we were in. I mean, in all honesty, they were maybe a few good players away from actually being very good. And next year, you're talking about, with Bobby Brown and Trayshawn Wharton, and you now get Derrick Brown back in the mix. That's going to be a very hard defense to deal with. And I mean, if they go out there and if they go into the draft, which I think they got all of their picks in the draft, they got a lot of options to go with in this draft, and they would have done exactly what I thought Washington was going to do. Like, Carolina is successfully going with a plan that I thought Washington would have the exact same plan. So I'm going to be honest, I am a little disappointed, because I really did think that we were going to be the destination for a lot of free agents. And what's happening is that we're starting to see that maybe, I don't know, maybe we're not quite the destination we thought we were. Especially when you see a report that then says that we're entertaining Michael Gallup. Like, we sat up there and let De'Ami Brown go to the Jacksonville Jaguars, and it's like, Michael Gallup? I mean, are we really entertaining a guy like Michael Gallup? Michael Gallup's time was maybe 2 years ago. And to be entertaining him now, that's kind of off to me. That's really, really off to me. Then you're talking about our big deals were trades. Again, wasn't too big on the Deebo Samuel trade, but we made the trade. We gave up a 5th round pick. So that was like dwindling our middle section of the draft. Then we made the trade today, which I'm not mad about the trade, because it was a very smart trade. And what you got in return of like what you were giving up, like, understand, we needed an offensive tackle. We understood that. We needed a quality offensive tackle. We were not going to find a quality guy in the 3rd round or later in the 7th round. We just wasn't going to find that. We may not have found one last year in the 2nd round or in the in the 2nd round or in the 4th round. So again, I get it. I'm not mad at the trade. It's just that we've now given up a lot of draft capital for 2 guys. And we still have a lot of money available, and we're not quite hitting the free agent market as strongly as we should have. Now, I understand that last year it worked out for us, but a lot of the guys that we got were coming from systems that were similar, or that were coming from already the Dan Quinn system, or they were guys that came from a similar system to Dan Quinn and Joe Witt's system. So, yeah. I mean, I like I said, again, I'm a little disappointed. I'm a little shocked. I thought that, again, Washington was going to be the destination for free agents. And the thing that I'm concerned about is that the desperation kicks in. And we go out there and we make too big of a splash. You know what I'm saying? Like, we go out there and end up resetting the whole safety market because we signed Javon Hargrave to a massive deal, which, again, I wouldn't be mad at, because Javon Hargrave is one of the better safeties out there, along with Justin Reed. But why do we have to be the guys to do that? Again, Jawan Johnson is sitting out there. He's a weapon we could use, and we could use desperately. You know, like, I understand bringing certain guys back, but a guy like Jawan Johnson is something that elevates your tight end room. And then you're talking about pairing him with Zach Ertz. That would have been a very good thing, because now you got two tight ends. One is a better blocker, but both are pretty solid blockers. And at the same time, they're also very good receivers. So, I mean, you could have paired those two up and did something really good with that as well. So, I mean, like I said, I'm not angry. I'm just a little shocked, a little confused. And I'm not certain how far they wanted to go. Like I said, the Kinlaw one, I'm not too fond of that one, you know, because again, Hargrave was probably the better option, and Hargrave might actually go back to Philly, which is an even worse idea or mindset. But what we're seeing right now is we're seeing NFC teams improving overnight. Now, that doesn't mean they're going to be far better than us, but they might actually do something. Carolina, again, they're going to see a last place schedule because they didn't play too well. They played well down the stretch, but they weren't doing well at the beginning of the season. They improved very well. Now, again, I'm not sitting here saying you got to sit up here and do everything through free agency, but you got to make key things that's going to improve your already established brotherhood and things like that. Like, you got to sprinkle in certain guys to make that the guys that have talent that's going to really push your team over the edge and over the top. So, again, currently right now, we see Carolina got better. We saw Arizona got better. The Giants brought Darius Slayton back. They are working on, I forgot which quarterback there is, but they also brought in Paulson Adebo. They're actually getting better. Then Milton Williams almost went to Carolina, and he's now in New England, but teams are getting better around us. They're really getting better around us. And we need to pay close attention to this, because we got to improve as well. We can't sit up there and think that what we did last year is going to pan out for us the next year or the upcoming season. So we definitely have to do that. And the fact that, again, we gave up a lot of draft capital this year. I mean, you're talking about I think we had 9 picks at first, to now we're down to 6. Our first, our second, a fourth, a sixth, and a seventh. Like that, like, we gave up a lot of our meaty mid-section of the draft. That day 3, we gave up a lot of that. Day 2, day 3, we gave up a lot of that little beef in the draft. And, you know, you're talking about when you need edge guys, you need I don't know, you may need an offensive lineman. You're talking about running back, a safety, a corner, you know, maybe a tight end. I don't know, because at this current moment, like, you know, we're in a situation where I'm not certain how far we can go without sprinkling in a few free agents, especially when you're talking about you only got 6 picks in the draft, and some of the later picks aren't that solid of picks, because you're talking about that 4th round pick is 127 in the 4th round. That's a very low pick in the 4th round. You're talking about the 6th pick is a low pick. The 7th pick is very low. I think that the compensatory picks haven't been given out yet, but man. Y'all tell me how y'all feel. How y'all feeling about this upcoming free agency? Because don't get me wrong, I want us to build through the draft, but we've made trades that have kind of taken away from the draft a little bit, especially when you're talking about us drafting so low this year. And on top of that, you're talking about it doesn't quite seem like the free agents are really excited about the possibility of coming to Washington. Y'all tell me what y'all think. How are y'all feeling about this free agency? Are y'all feeling a little like I am, where it's like, wait a minute, what happened to us being a destination for free agents? And I mean, don't get me wrong, I would have liked for us to at least sign at least two, but Kinlaw, I don't really like that move. In fact, I don't really think he fits our scheme. Because you're talking about that gap control scheme. He gets up the field and he's not great against the run. So, that worries me a little bit. And signing some of our guys, but not signing some of our key guys, that's kind of like a little bit to me as well. Like I said, Jeremy Chin was a key guy. That's a very big key guy. And again, like I said, you give John Bates, our blocking tight end, a 3-year deal, but why couldn't you give that same 3-year deal to Jeremy Chin? So I don't know. Y'all tell me what y'all think. How y'all feeling about this free agency? How's it making you feel? Are you feeling like they're going in the right direction? Are you kind of surprised that we aren't really being the destination that free agents actually wanted to come to? And do you feel that we're going to make some moves that's actually going to make an impact? Or do you feel that there's a chance that they could do something that is, the desperation move and reset the market to be a really high market and then regret it later on? Y'all tell me what y'all think. Other than that, this has been your man John Fortune, and I will be back this week to go over what other free agents we get. And this has been the Frustrated Fan Sports Show.